This is Share the Vision, presented by the Resource Center, a discussion of the programs and services of the Resource Center and about issues related to individuals with disabilities. Good morning from the Gateway Station, the former Erie Railroad Station in downtown Jamestown, on what, until you get here, is a very gray, quiet Sunday morning. As we speak, it's not quite 8:30 a.m. yet, but Steve Watterson, Community Relations Director at the Resource Center, joins me here at the railroad station. Good morning, Steve.
Morning, Dennis. How are you?
Well, fine. Now, this is the Sunday before Christmas 2013, and it is snowing outside. It's a very Jamestown wintry look. And Steve Watterson looks like Santa Claus to the degree that he ever could, if you know Slender Steve, because he has his Santa hat on here. And the spirit of the season is filling this part of the Gateway Station, the former Erie Railroad Station, because right behind us, well, Steve Watterson, first, good morning.
Hi, Dennis. Yeah, right behind us we have, a couple dozen anyway, maybe 30 people here who are volunteering their time to come down and, in effect, play Santa Claus this morning. They are going around and bagging up toys for what is probably going to be 2,500 or so children who are going to be benefited by the U.S. Marine Corps Toys for Tots drive, which the Resource Center has been coordinating in Chautauqua County for about the last 13 years.
So we have backed our way into this, but this is the Toys for Tots wrap-up show for 2013, and we're here at the Gateway Station to do that.
There's a buzz and a sense of excitement in the room, and during the next 25 minutes or so, we'll talk to some of the Toys for Tots coordinators and some volunteers and hopefully get their perspective on what's going on.
Well, and you know, more and more volunteers, we're standing right near the doorway here, and more volunteers keep coming in every minute here, so there are lots more people who are coming in to do the work, but I think I'll find my way to one of the coordinators here and kind of set up the rest of the show.
Yeah, it's great to see, as you're noticing, Des, we've got people of all ages. We've got children that are, probably 7, 8 years old, all the way up to folks who are senior citizens helping out today. So it's really just a great community-wide initiative and effort, and we've spoken before that, sure, the Resource Center coordinates all this, but we certainly don't provide all of the toys. It's really the generosity of everybody in the community and local businesses that allow this to be so successful every year.
Well, since you've said that, Steve, let me do one other bit of stage setting here. And that is, we are, as you look at the railroad station, in the wing to the right-hand side, the west side of the railroad station. And here there is a large room that is jam-packed with toys at the moment, and more volunteers. You said a couple dozen. It's probably up to 3 dozen now who are working on the specific task of finding the right toys for children for whom toys have been requested this year. We're going to go around this barrier in a moment when we can and get the comments of a couple of the coordinators. Both Heather Brown and Terry Johnson are here, and find some of those volunteers. Terry Johnson, while we have a moment, because you've been very busy signing in volunteers and assigning them tasks here at the Gateway Station this morning, but you've been providing updates for us for about a month now on Share the Vision, and we've been following the progress of the Toys for Tots collection applications. How are things right now?
Well, this is my favorite part of the year during our Toys for Tots campaign. If you can look around the room and see the excitement of how many people are bagging up toys and watching them kind of struggle to figure out what a kid wants for Christmas is so much fun. Things are going, I'm optimistic. I'm going to say things are going pretty good. As you see, there's a lot of toys here. I think we're going to make it this year. Every year we go through this and everyone asks, and I always say, I have no idea. We've started to be able to gauge. It does look like our toy donations are down this year from where they've been in the past, but we're still optimistic that we're going to be able to swing through as best as we can.
What about applications? Now, to this point, at least, are the numbers about the same as last year, above or beyond? And put a number on that if you can, Terry.
Right now, are at about 2,100 children. Last year, we ended the year with a little over 2,400 children, but we will be taking late applicants on Monday afternoon, which will probably put us up over. So where we are today from last year, we are up about 150 applications, or 150 children.
Allow me to interrupt my interview with Terry Johnson, Toys for Tots coordinator here, just long enough to say that the Toys for Tots collection and distribution is completed for this year. The program that you're listening to was recorded at the Gateway Station in Jamestown earlier this past week. The number of volunteers certainly is impressive that you've brought in here on a quiet Sunday morning in Jamestown.
Yes, it is. Everybody comes out every year in the droves to do this. This is like one of those activities that people just really enjoy coming to help out every year, and we certainly could not do it without them. As you see, it's quite the undertaking trying to fill orders for over 2,000 children. So we're hoping to have the toys kind of go out as fast as we're getting them filled today. So we'll have people picking up today, and the batch will be going to Dunkirk in about an hour. So we're going to hopefully make the best with the space that we have and try to clear it out as fast as we can.
Well, two other things, and I'm going to try to find Heather Brown in the midst of the sea of workers and toys here. But one, how has the space worked out for you? Because this is the new Toy Central here at the Gateway Station.
You know, it has been so nice in here. We just love the space, and we love the atmosphere of the building. We are very, very grateful that we were able to utilize the space this year. It's smaller than what we're used to, so that was some challenges that we had to overcome, but it's worked out perfect for us, and we've been able to just adapt it to our needs.
And any toys that you've seen come through here? I always like to ask this question. I think 13 years we've been talking about this, the 13 years, as Steve Watterson mentioned, that the Resource Center's been involved in Toys for Tots. Anything caught your eye this year, Terry?
You know, there was a couple of things, and nothing that will ever make their way into my home. But I've seen the new and improved Furby that's been out this year.
New and improved Furby.
The new and improved Furby, and a lot of craft things that seems to have been a big hit this year. There's been a lot of bracelet makings and art things, and art things might make it into my house, but most of the other loud things I will be bypassing them to our home.
No Furbies, huh?
No Furbies. They talk back too much. I get enough of that at home.
Well, and I want to say one other thing to you, though, because one of the transitions that's going to happen in Toys for Tots this year, and Mike Volk is not here at the moment to speak to, but he's retiring from the Resource Center and therefore retiring from Toys for Tots. The three of you have coordinated this together for 13 years.
Yes, I know. That's going to be a big change for us coming up next year, that Mike will be leaving us, so he's going to leave some gaps that are going to need to be filled for sure. So we'll definitely miss him as he goes on to do new things in someplace much warmer than here.
But I understand that his leaving will change your work, aside from Toys for Tots, at the Resource Center.
That is true. I will be assuming his position at the Resource Center as the Director of Rehab and Employment Services after the first of the year.
Congratulations to you.
Thank you.
And that's a big job. Mike's been developing this, building this for a long time, and you have worked with him.
Yep. I worked in that department for 10 years prior to leaving there a few years ago, so I'm just kind of going back to home where I started.
Terry, thank you.
Thanks.
Heather Brown is one of the other coordinators of the three for Toys for Tots for the Resource Center, the Marine Corps Reserve's Toys for Tots, coordinated by the Resource Center here in Chautauqua County. Heather, I have not had the opportunity to talk to you yet this Toys for Tots season, so I'm glad on this morning when there is a room full of volunteers sorting and assembling toys that we can speak for a moment.
I know. I'm so happy we keep missing each other. It's been such a busy season all the way around this year. We've really been dividing and conquering like no other time.
Well, and as has been mentioned several times on this radio program and by many others in many other contexts, it's a sort of a rushed season with Thanksgiving coming late, and you're getting these toys out the door here today as we speak on the 15th of December.
It is, and we had a change of venue, so we were kind of out of our normal routine to get things reorganized. But from the looks of it, it looks like it's working out pretty well.
How does it work here? Let's describe what the volunteers are doing here at the moment.
Well, right now the volunteers are taking one of the applications that have been filled out. They're looking at it really carefully for the ages and the genders of the children, and they're walking around the room. We've got about 8,000 square feet here filled with toys, and they're carefully selecting. If they have a 2-year-old little girl, they're finding the perfect toy, up to, a 16-year-old boy. It's fun. People seem to be having a good time.
Anything that's caught your eye in the midst of all of these toys here this year, Heather?
Wow, I don't know. I'm really liking some of the interesting board games against the far wall. I'm a board game kind of person, and there's some things I'd never heard of.
Something new then.
It is.
Maybe we'll go out and check those out at some point a little later in this program today. Heather, would be appropriate for me to ask you at this moment to review how Toys for Tots works and how the Resource Center fits into this and the Marine Corps Reserves, just for the people who may not be familiar with this program listening to our broadcast today.
Okay, actually about 13 years ago, a group of staff that worked in the Employment Services Department and were case managers were trying to find assistance for families, and it was really close to the holidays, and most of the other deadlines for the local organizations we had here had passed. And somebody mentioned Toys for Tots, and we did a little research and found an organization in the Buffalo area that did Toys for Tots, and there wasn't one locally. So we partnered with them for a handful of years, and then one day had a conversation about, well, why couldn't we bring this into Chautauqua County? That would be easy. It's only half a dozen, 2 dozen, 3 dozen families, right? And that transpired into us applying to become our own local community organization, which is a designation through the U.S. Marine Corps. And 13 years later, we're giving toys to about 1,000 families and about 2,300 children. So it grew pretty quickly.
And this has become a major commitment at the end of the year for you, Terry Johnson, and the soon-to-be retired Mike Voll.
Yeah, the three of us have kind of been in it for the long haul. We've developed our own routine, so we don't know. Next year will be a little bit different with Mike retiring and going to the sunny south, but he's already scoping out the Marine Corps program down there, he said.
He's going to keep at this one way or another.
I think he will, but we'll be filling that gap here. But it's not without, we all work for the Resource Center. There's a lot of Resource Center staff here today helping us out with a lot of other groups, too. So we'll just put a shout out, and I'm sure we'll be able to continue.
Well, and the extraordinary community cooperation that you receive from individuals, businesses, groups, and organizations, I think that deserves to be noted every time we talk about Toys for Tots, because there's certainly a lot of people who and organizations that join you in this effort.
There are. As I look around the room today, I don't even know everybody that's here. People bring their family, bring their friends. We've got some teachers that are here from different school districts that have kind of brought some of their coworkers. And it's really word of mouth. Once somebody kind of comes and helps out, especially on this bagging Sunday, it's really contagious. And they come back and bring more people year after year after year. So I'm always amazed at the sea of people. It used to be just a couple of us, so...
It's a lot of work, too, to take these toys and assemble them for all of the people and hope that you have enough for every request. I mean, this is the time when it really, the requests and those toys that have been collected sort of meet each other and hopefully work out all right.
It does. It's a big match, and we're nervous. Terry and I were down here last night after Mike and his group had done the big sort. And there's no way to tell. There's absolutely no way. We're well underway now. We've been bagging for about a half an hour. We hope that we'll have enough today. We know we've got a few more opportunities of toys being delivered. There's a few more events being held this weekend. But I think we'll get through it okay.
Thanks for your time, and Merry Christmas to you.
Thank you. Merry Christmas.
Today on Share the Vision, we're looking back at the concluding days of this year's Toys for Tots effort in Chautauqua County, the Marine Corps Reserve's Toys for Tots, coordinated by the Resource Center. This program was recorded at the Gateway Station in downtown Jamestown earlier this week. Bradley Brown is here. You and I have talked on this Toys for Tots show a lot of times over the years, haven't we?
Yeah.
And you've grown up kind of with this. How old are you now?
I'm 14.
And where are you in school?
I'm in 9th grade at Jamestown High School.
How's it going so far?
It's pretty good.
Now, Bradley, describe what you're doing here today in your own words.
You get a paper with, child's names on it. Then you find, a toy for them. They get, a big toy and a small toy, and then that's what they get for Christmas.
And have you had fun picking toys so far?
Yeah, it's really fun.
You've done this how many times before, do you think?
I don't know.
A lot.
Yeah.
Your perspective change on this over time in terms of how you're helping kids and what you're actually doing here?
Yeah, because, these kids, this is probably, going to be the only thing they get for Christmas, and you feel good about yourself.
It's good to give to other children the chance to get something for Christmas.
Yeah.
Well, best of luck to you. Merry Christmas, Bradley.
Merry Christmas.
Thank you very much. Here's another one of the volunteers who's about to check out some toys here. This is going to be interrupted in a moment, but what is your name?
Alyssa Leathers.
Alyssa, nice to see you again.
Nice to see you too.
Now, where in the world are you?
I go to college at Ohio State, so I'm in Columbus, Ohio for most of the year, but I'm back for Christmas.
So you're here and not only back in Jamestown for Christmas. You graduated from JHS last year.
Mm-hmm, yep.
How's your first year of college going?
It went well. I'm done with my first semester, and I'm having fun there and getting good grades. And
what are you studying?
Elementary education.
Well, and yet you're not only back in Jamestown, but you're back at Toys for Tots.
Yeah, it's something that my mom and I like to do every year. So she said that, hey, it's the weekend you come home, so why not go down and help out?
So you've just come home and you're doing this?
Yeah, I came home on Wednesday, and so luckily it worked out that I could still volunteer.
This interview is going to be interrupted for a moment because the list is about to be checked out. There's a volunteer that looks at everything that you've collected just to make sure that it meets the specifications on the sheet before they wrap it up.
Yep, just to make sure I did my job.
Boy, this is a fast process because as soon as he's checking, just as he's checking you out to make sure everything's all right, you're picking up another sheet to go.
Yep. So actually, I took the last one, and he did well. He was fast.
Alyssa, how do you feel about Christmas and about kids and about toys as you do this work here?
Well, as I said, I want to be an elementary education teacher, so I've loved kids for a really long time, and I like to find different ways that I can help kids, especially around Christmas, because I know how hard it can be for some not-as-privileged kids.
Thank you very much. Merry Christmas to you and your whole family.
Merry Christmas to you, too.
Jason Williams has been on the show a few times in the past as well. He's a pretty well-known teacher, educator, actor, comedian, fun guy in Jamestown. But you're here doing serious work today.
As serious as you can be with a room full of toys.
Well said. You looked like you were laboring here a minute ago.
I've got two boys of my own, and I keep getting lists with girls, and I'm not really good with the girl toys. It always takes a little bit extra thought for me.
Well, your thoughts, your feelings as we approach Christmas 2013 and the whole Toys for Tots effort.
It gets more amazing every year. We get more volunteers every year. It takes you back to being a child. As soon as you walk into this room and see thousands of toys laid out for you, and you get to go shopping for complete strangers, and you get to be an elf.
Now, you deal with kids all the time. Your work is with young people.
Yes, I'm a middle school teacher, and we're used to seeing the do this, sit down, follow the rules, but this gives educators, because there are a few teachers in here, the chance to go out there and see the fun side of childhood and keep that spark alive.
Well, and Christmas, even for middle schoolers, is still important, and getting things under the trees. I mean, the young people can sometimes be thought to be jaded and not connected to that reality that maybe you and I grew up with.
There is a definite callousness going around with that age group, but at Christmas morning, that has to go away. That magic is always there.
Jason, Merry Christmas to you, your entire family. I see your wife around here somewhere volunteering also.
Oh, yeah, my son's here for the first time this year, so he's getting into it. He just took a sheet and a bag away from me, said he's got this, and went off on his own, and who better to shop for a kid than a kid, so I think he's going to do fine.
How old is he now?
He's going to be 9 in March.
Well, I'm glad you could bring him along and get him in the spirit of Toys for Tots.
Oh, me too. He's having a great time.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dennis.
1 minute for me.
Sure.
Leanna Luca Conley is here. She's getting ready to check out. Who did you pull toys for?
Well, I'm not supposed to say the name because of Santa Claus.
Well, don't do it. Just tell me
the helper.
The kind of the age and the...
This would be a 4-year-old little girl, and this is through the foster care.
Was it fun to pick toys for a 4-year-old girl?
Absolutely. 4-year-olds are fun. 12-year-olds are a different story.
Do you have a 4-year-old and a 12-year-old at all?
I have a 4-year-old, a 7-year-old, and a 22-year-old. So.
I see. Leanna, since it's changed recently, give me your title again at the Resource Center.
I am the Director of Care Coordination and Behavioral Health Services.
How do you feel about coming in and being a Toys for Tots volunteer, considering your work and your experience at the Resource Center?
Oh, I love it. Absolutely love it. This is, I've done this for years, even before I was at the Resource Center. So it makes more meaning for the holiday spirit.
How does that happen for you? Can we probe that a little bit? How does it help you feel more in the holiday spirit?
Well, definitely, looking at the list of names and knowing how many children we're helping, and seeing all the volunteers here today, it's definitely a community-based event, and it just makes you feel good about doing something here for the community.
Gratifying.
Yeah, absolutely.
Merry Christmas to you.
Merry Christmas.
Thank you very much. What is your name?
Kevin Anderson.
Kevin, what is your line of work aside from being a toy sorter at Toys for Tots?
I work for the Resource Center. I'm the administrator of their Individualized Services Program.
And how do you feel about coming in here and doing this?
It's a great Sunday morning to come and be able to pick out gifts for those who need.
I'm just going to pause for a second here and let people hear the hum in the room. Because really, just in the time that I've been here, half an hour or less, the number of people in the room and the energy, the excitement has gone up and up and up.
It has. I also was here about a half an hour ago, and there was probably about 15, 20 people, and I think we're up to at least 30 to 40 at this point.
And it is kind of neat that the Resource Center, which cares for people, consumers in so many ways, can also embrace this project every year. It's something a little different, perhaps outside what one might consider the regular or ordinary mission of the Resource Center, but a delightful thing to be a part of.
Absolutely. It's a great day.
Thanks a lot.
You're welcome, Dennis.
Here's another couple of people waiting in line to be checked out for the toys that they have collected. What is your name?
My name's Debbie Winter.
And I'm Gregory Winter, her son.
Well, Deb and Greg, thanks for taking a moment to talk to me about what you're doing here today. Deb, what do you do the rest of the time?
Well, the rest of the time I teach. I work for Head Start with children. And I also help ring the bell for the Salvation Army.
So how is it that you came down here today to be helping assemble toys?
My son and I have been doing it for 3 years, and we look forward to this every year.
Well, what's special about the experience for you, Mom, first?
Well, first of all, I'm a mother, and great joy to see my son and I come down and help out. We really have a good time.
And Greg, where in the world are you?
Well, I live in Tampa, Florida. I go to school down there at the University of Tampa.
What are you studying there?
Sports management.
Let's keep moving forward here. The line keeps moving.
So, it's really nice to be able to come down here and reunite with my mom and spend some time with her and then help out the community a little bit. It's been a lot of fun every year.
So this is kind of a warm experience between the two of you.
Yeah. It's something that we get together for every year, something that we look forward to.
And it must be quite the shock to come from Tampa to Jamestown to this relatively cool railroad station location right now to work toys.
Oh, yeah. Yesterday I had my fun shoveling, but today I'm kind of sick of the weather. But this is a very nice building. This is my first time being in here. But, it's very, very nice. This is the first year that they've had it here, and I think it's a good location for it.
Any other thoughts from you, Deb, about coming together with your son to do this now for the third year?
We have a good time. Like you said, we look forward to sharing this time together and helping out our community.
Well, thank you for helping us on this radio show as well as helping Toys for Tots.
Well, thank you very much for having us.
Merry Christmas to both of you.
Merry Christmas to you
guys.
You're
welcome. Merry Christmas.
All of what you've heard on Share the Vision to this point was recorded this past Sunday at the Gateway Station, the former Erie Railroad Station in Jamestown. But I've come back on Monday morning to catch up with the third of the three coordinators, Mike Volk, who was not here Sunday but is back on the job today. Mike, thanks for letting me come in and speak to you for a moment.
Anytime, Dennis, and I'm glad to be here for you.
Anytime, but for a limited time only. And that's why I wanted to come back here, because you are in your final tour of duty as a Toys for Tots coordinator.
That's right. I'll be retiring February 20th.
Now, you're retiring not only from Toys for Tots, but retiring from the Resource Center as well.
That's correct.
Wow, Mike, that's a lot to absorb in a couple of sentences there. Let's talk first about leaving Toys for Tots, because you have been instrumental in this effort for 13 years now, and we're seeing the final moments of it on the other side of the door where we stand in the depot right now. A few people coming in, still distributing toys, a few more coming in. What's your sense of having to say goodbye to this after making it happen for 13 years?
Well, I'm so excited about retiring and heading on and finishing up my last year, but it seems everywhere I go to pick up toys, and even right now I get a little bit choked up. I don't know what to say. I'm excited to go, but everyone's giving me a hug or something, and I get a little bit choked up.
Well, what's Toys for Tots come to mean to you? What have you learned about your agency, the Resource Center, about need in the community, about the people who fill that need?
I've learned so much, Dennis. I had no idea that so many people were so generous, and I really, even though I work in this field, I didn't know there were so many people that needed help. And it's just all around been a great experience.
The joy that comes from giving toys to children at Christmas is something that, despite the fact that there's a lot of skepticism and a lot of angst in the world, that cannot be taken away, cannot be in any way diminished.
That's right. I swear it'll stick with me for life.
Now, the professional part of your leaving, and it's not imminent, you still have a couple of months on the job at the Resource Center?
Correct. February 20th is my last day.
And what is your title now at the Resource Center, Mike?
I am the Director of Rehabilitation and Employment Services.
Give us the thumbnail biography of your work at the Resource Center from beginning to almost end.
Well, my entire career is spent helping people with disabilities find and maintain employment. Now, when I started out, I was more hands-on and out as a job coach and in the community. As I got older and got promoted a few times, it became more of administrative duties and budgeting and all the things that help support that function.
So it's grown a great deal. Over how long a span of time, Mike?
About 28 years.
So this has really been quite the career, and you are not only leaving the Resource Center, but I understand you're relocating to another part of the country.
That's correct. My wife retired June 30th. I'm retiring February 20th. We're moving to South Carolina. We hope to be up here in the summer and down there in the winter.
Well, best of luck to you as you make that transition, and I hope it works out exactly as you have forecasted for you and your wife and your family. And thank you for the many opportunities that we have had over the years to talk together about the Resource Center and the work that you do there, and particularly at this time of year when we've gotten together frequently. Over the last 13 years, I think every year, we've done some Share the Vision broadcasts featuring you on Toys for Tots. So, Mike, thanks for your sharing your feelings with our audience today and many times in the past.
Thank you, Dennis.
And we learned yesterday that your replacement in your key role at the Resource Center is someone Toys for Tots and listeners to this program know well.
That's right, Terry Johnson, and that's a great transition for her and for the agency. It's a great fit.
Well, Mike, thanks again. Merry Christmas to you, and thank you for all your work for Toys for Tots this year and in years past.
Thank you, Dennis. Merry Christmas to you, and Merry Christmas to all our listeners.
After that departure to meet Mike Volk in his final year as a Toys for Tots coordinator, we've come back to close this edition of Share the Vision. And Steve, indeed, what has been said many times throughout the course of this half hour is really true. There's an energy, a joy, a kind of excitement in this place right now.
Oh, there sure is. There are probably 75, 85 people here now, so it's just so wonderful and heartwarming to see everybody coming down here on a Sunday to volunteer their time to help put this whole Toys for Tots program together and make the holidays brighter for so many children who need that little extra lift this year. We're all about making individuals and families as whole and happy and fulfilled as they can be, and this is one of the ways of doing it. So we're just so grateful to the community, wishing everybody a Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays, and thanks so much for supporting this great effort.
Well, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year to you, Steve Watterson, and to all of the people who've been a part of our program today. Thank you for sharing the vision today.